Hi everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and in this episode I thought I'd share some new products that I've purchased and give you my feelings about those. And behind me you can see this is the quilt I'm working on right now. It's all finished. The only thing I have to add to it is the binding, and I'm in my sewing room, but maybe I should call this my sewing dungeon because this is not the nicest room in the house. I share it with Walter's workshop and my exercise equipment. So I have this little space carved out of here, and that's my sewing room. So I thought I'd throw up the quilt in the background so you didn't have to look at all the junk that's behind that quilt. So let's move on here. Let's look at some new things that I've purchased. What I'm going to do is just going to move this down so you can see this table. Now I have something sitting over here heating up. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But first I just want to bring over, and I hope I can get it in the shot, I bought a quilt ruler holder stand, whatever you want to call it. Let's move it up a bit. And I saw this for the first time at the sewing store I go to, and they do sell them, but they were out that particular day. And the other day I happened to come across it on Amazon, so I ordered one. They weren't that expensive. I think it was about $25 Canadian. But you can see it holds all my different rulers, and they just slide in, slide out. And you might think this is a bit of a frivolous purchase, but before that, now I had my rulers hanging on a nail, basically. And always the ruler I would need at that particular moment was always the one buried behind all the other rulers, so I'd have to take them all down to get at it. This makes life so much easier. So I think it's worth the investment. And if you don't have one, and if you have space on your table, I would suggest you get one. Okay, what else are we going to take a look at? I'm just going to tilt this a little bit more. All right, let's talk about some resources. This book by Leah Day, Explore Walking Foot Quilting. I have been reading this. Haven't got through it all yet, but she shows different patterns and things to do this. She gives a lot of tips, and she's got some quilting projects in here as well. I really like Leah Day. I think she's very knowledgeable about what she's doing, and she really does show you that if you're not really up to doing free motion quilting, using your walking foot can work just as effectively. And that's what I've been using on the quilt you saw behind me, and what I've been doing lately. So I find this book was a very good investment. Again, it's available on her website, leahday.com, I believe it's called, or you can go to Amazon to pick up a copy of it. Other resources. Now these ones I've had for a while. There was a sale on at a site called what was the site called now? Now I can't even think of what the site was. Maybe it's on the back here. Interweave. And they have a lot of educational products in a variety of different mediums and things. Well, these were ones they had about quilting and sewing. Zippers and finishing techniques. I really haven't looked at this one yet. Creative machine quilting. Again, need to sit down and watch these. And free motion machine sketching. Now I bought a whole bunch of different DVDs because they were ridiculously cheap. They're older ones, but I thought they'd be very handy, and I need to watch them. In fact, I forgot that I had them. That's the story of my life. I buy things and I forget that I've got them and rediscover them sometime later. And another piece of software, which I was really excited to get my hands on, is Electric Quilt 8. Now, if you don't know what Electric Quilt is, they've been around since the early 90s. This is software to help you design a quilt, and it is very verbose. And what I mean by that is it does everything. I also bought a lesson plan book with it to go through some basic lessons on how to use it. It's not a difficult program, but I'm very much used to using software, so it's not a problem for me. So maybe for someone who's not as comfortable with their computer, you might find this has a bit of a learning curve to it. And I do highly recommend getting the lesson plan book. If you're going to put the money out for this, get the lesson plan book as well, because I think you'll find it very helpful. But having said that, they have links to their website that have all kinds of video tutorials, fact sheets, resource materials that are free that you can watch online or download to your computer, which are also of a help as well. The book was not that expensive. Well, yeah, it was. It was about $40 by the time tax was on it. And remember, I'm talking Canadian dollars. Now, I got it from my local sewing store. I also got this program from my local sewing store. This is not a cheap program. At this store, they had it listed as $335.95, which was a bit of a shock to my system because I had seen it for $240 some American on the actual Electric Quilt site, which is just eq8.com if you do that, or it's just Electric Quilt, I think, electricquilt1word.com. You can go there and check that out. It was available on Amazon as well, and on the Canadian Amazon site, although they were out of stock of it. And initially I did order it through them because they'll let you know. They don't charge you until it comes in, and they're usually pretty fast about getting stuff that's on back order. And it was $238 Canadian, so that was a considerably cheaper than if I'd gone through the Electric Quilt site itself. But I happened to be in my sewing store, and I asked them if they had it, and they said, yeah, they sell it. And they were out that day of it, but they could order me one, no problem. And I asked them how much, and they said $168. So I thought, wow, bargain. I'm definitely going to get it from you. So it came in a week later, went in to pick it up, had sticker shock. I see this on it. And I went, wow, that's the price? And the owner of the store, she said, yeah. She says, what were you quoted? And I told her, $168. So she went to check this out with actually the person who quoted me that price. And as she was doing that, I got thinking, you know, I'll bet you she quoted me the price for the upgraded version of this. Like if you had Electric Quilt 7, you could just get the upgrade to Electric Quilt 8, and upgrades are always cheaper than the full version. But I did not have previous versions of this program, so I needed the full version. I was prepared, I was a little shocked, but I was prepared to pay that full price because I wanted this program in the worst of ways. However, the owner of the store came back and she said, yeah, this is really the price of it. But she says, I'll give it to you for $263 or something like that, $268. So I got it for less money than what it really goes for, and that was really nice of them to do that. But I am a repeat customer, and you know, that's part of goodwill, right? Or, you know, that's what makes people come back to you when you treat them like that well. And anyways, I'm glad I have it. I'm working my way through the lesson plans, and it's fantastic. It's phenomenal what it will do. It has all kinds of built-in patterns for you. It'll do templates. It'll do paper piecing printouts. It figures out your yardage. You can even drop in materials from major designers right into your design to see what they look like. It gives you the information for ordering that material, and you can actually scan in your own fabrics as well. So it's a very, very powerful program. I feel well worth the price, even if you had to pay $335 for it. So I'm still learning this, but I'll let you know how that goes as I learn more about it. Some other things. Let me reach over here. So yesterday we were out and about. I said about, not a boot. Okay. Yes, I'm Canadian. We do not say a boot. And I picked up this material. Now, we were out. It's the long weekend here as I make this video, Victoria weekend in May. And we went off to something called Art in the Park. And if you watch my vlog or you watch Stephen and Walter live, you'll hear about what that is. And on our way back home, we stopped into a little town called Port Hope, and they have a quilting store. And I'm all about quilting stores now. And it's called Cozy Quilt. So I went in to see what they had, and they had some beautiful quilts on display. They were just absolutely gorgeous. Walter was actually really interested in them. The one that I really liked, that lady, it's material from a certain manufacturer. I can't remember who she said. It was just beautiful material. I think they were batiks. It was a giant sort of star And it is on point, which means you're going to have some problems putting seams together. It's a complicated quilt. I looked at a kit for it. It came with all the material and everything. It was about $315 for that. Wasn't really prepared to drop that kind of money on something that I've never done before, and it did involve paper piecing as well. They do have a class, and I haven't looked up all their classes. It sounded like, you know, very interesting though. You get to learn how to do this the proper way. And the lady who owns the store, who I was talking to, and I never asked her name, although I did get her business card, but I'm not sure where I put that business card right now. It's probably in the other room. But anywho, she was very helpful. She had some beautiful materials, and I saw these. Now, I have never really bought any material that comes pre-cut, but I've seen the benefits of having pre-cut material. Yeah, I think it just makes your life easier. So this package has 40 pre-cut 10 by 10 hand-painted batik squares in it, and I love the colors in it. So did Walter. And then I thought I'd get this package of 2.5 inch strips, and there are 20 that are about 43 or 44 inches in length. And you do a lot of 2.5 inch strips in quilting, I have found. And I thought those go along with this material. And I got these two, not just because I liked the way they looked, but I saw this pattern there as well. And I thought, you know, this was really nice. I just realized something. I'm wondering if all this is coming out upside down, that I should be turning things this way. Okay, forgive me if it's upside down. Different setup than I'm used to right now, so I'll work out the bugs later. Anyways, I thought this was a really nice design, and I thought these fabrics would look great with this too. And it says on this, there are no Y seams. Everybody seems to be absolutely terrified of Y seams. I need to do some research on them, but I think it has to do when things are on point, as they call it. So I'm going to see if I can make this. I'll probably have to supplement some other materials for it, but looking at, I'm thinking of doing the twin size. It says that the twin size in here, they give you all the measurements. I think I can get it out of this. So this might be my next project. However, I do have this pattern that I got as well. And I bought this a couple of weeks ago over at my sewing store, Ultimate Sewing. And I bought it because I was talking to the ladies there about the fabrics that I design, and I've shown you those, and how much I don't want to cut them up because I really like them. Well, you could do a whole cloth quilt idea, but I don't think my quilting skills, meaning, you know, actually free motion and that, are good enough for that yet. But then she showed me this pattern. It's fairly modern. Call it in and out. And you can see you can put a larger piece of your material in the center of this. And I thought that might be a good way to showcase some of those fabrics that I have. So I was going to do this next, but now I'm thinking of doing the other one, the Labyrinth, first, because I have the materials for it. I don't know, so many choices, so little time. I can understand why people now have UFOs, unfinished objects, because, you know, you do this kind of stuff and you get working on one piece and you want to work on another piece, and it just goes from there. So, speaking of pieces, these are just a couple of leftovers from one of my other quilts, and I got this new toy. Let's just bring it into the shot. It's been sitting off here heating up. It is very, very hot. I'm not too sure I'm sold on this stand. In fact, other people, I've seen reviews on this, and they suggest putting it inside a mug or something like this, that these stands aren't very good. But I do know this company sells, because I saw it in one video, an actual better stand that you can slip this into. Anyways, what is this that I'm talking about? Let me get the packaging here for you. Let's move this out of our way for a second. Try not to burn myself. Okay, so what this is, oh, there's the instructions, should read those. Mini iron, it's by Clover. Mini Iron II. And it's essentially an iron. It doesn't steam or anything like that. It looks like a soldering tool, really, or one of those heat tools. But this blade or attachment on the top, and you can get other different types of attachments for it, is supposed to be really good for pressing seams as you're working. So I pulled these up, and I'm going to see how great it is in terms of pressing. Well, let's first of all just, I have it set at high. I'm not sure. High says it's like 500 and some degrees, and you're supposed to just roll it down there. And yes, that is warm. So see, the idea is you don't need your big iron for this. But I think what it would be good for, especially, is when you're doing open seams. And that's what I'm going to try to show you here. Let's just put this over to the side. Let's see if we can open up one of these seams. Okay. I'm seam challenged today. Here we go. Okay. So say I want an open seam. So I'm just going to finger press this for a moment just to get it to open. I'm having a lot of trouble with this. That's why I need a tool like this. Okay. So this is hot. I can feel the heat coming off it. Yeah, actually, it does a pretty good job. I'm spending way too much time on pressing that seam, but it does a good job. Let's just get it into shot here for a minute so I can talk about some of the features. So it has a high, medium, and low, and according to the little chart that's on this card, it says low is approximately 220 degrees Fahrenheit or 105 degrees C. Mid-range is approximately 390 degrees Fahrenheit or 200 degrees C, and high is approximately 560 degrees Fahrenheit or 295 degrees C. So I'm assuming, depending on your material, where'd those instructions go? Here they are. Have to read these at some point. Yeah, it tells you on here, temperature setting. Low is good for wool, rayon, polyester, and silk. Mid is for cotton and linen, and high, they don't even have what it's for. So I might be doing overkill at having this on high. So right here, you have a control for that. Let's put it into the midsection. And you'll notice, now they call this the Clover Iron II. The first version of this did not have this protective sleeve, and that whole barrel, I can feel it, is hot. And it wouldn't be hard for you to just grab it by that, and that would be that. It comes with a little screwdriver, and so you can take this off, and you can get actually a bigger one of these, but it also has a hot knife. So it looks like an X-Acto knife that fits into it, but it heats up, so that'd be great for what, foam core, styrofoam, things like that. It's got a ball device, a stylus with a ball on the end of it, and in one video that I saw, they were using that for shaping flowers out of material, things like that. I had seen a video where someone was actually using this to apply vinyl, iron-on vinyl, to a stuffed plush toy, and it worked very well for that too. So there are multiple things you can do with this tool. I bought it primarily to do what I just showed you. Is it expensive? Well, I got it through Amazon. Amazon was having a bit of a sale. You know, with Amazon, prices fluctuate all the time, up and down, so you know, you got to know your prices on things. I got free shipping because I have Prime. So it ended up costing me, in Canadian dollars, with tax, all that stuff, about $45, which I've seen it listed online in around that same range as well. So basically, yeah, it's not expensive, but it's not cheap either. So we'll see how much I use this, but I've got one now, and I must read these later on. Okay, so I think that's all I've got to show you on this version of the Idiot Quilter. A little longer than I usually do. This is run about 20 minutes. Usually I try to keep them to 10 to 12 minutes long, but I had a lot of things to show you. So anyways, hope you have a good week, and watch for my next episode where I share some of my mistakes or whatever at the time. Have a good day. Bye-bye for now.